Hello class, my name is Victor Akiyame and I am actually here to present to you guys on my paper I wrote about catching and throwing. And what I'm going to do for my presentation, I'm going to make a short PowerPoint to go along with this, but I also just wanted to do like a video blog. One of the main reasons I wanted to do that, I do speech and debate here at school, and that's just one of the things. I just feel like I'm a better speaker sometimes than I am a creator of PowerPoint. I didn't know how to record over the PowerPoint, so I just wanted to make this to go along with the PowerPoint in order for you guys to get a look at my beautiful face and then also get to see and hear my voice and kind of like the passion and the reason why I did my paper on catching and throwing. So let's begin. 1,549. Now you might be thinking like that's just like some random number, like that's some number that doesn't mean anything to anybody. But that's actually the number of catches that Jerry Rice had in his playing career. If you know who Jerry Rice is, he is a Hall of Fame wide receiver. Played the majority of his career with the San Francisco Niners, but he also played a year with a couple years with my Oakland Raiders. So with Jerry Rice, a lot of times, like when I heard sport analysts speak about Jerry Rice, people will talk about this God-given ability that Jerry Rice had. That he had this God-given ability to just to be able to catch the ball. And while I'm a Christian, obviously I believe that God grants us abilities. He gives us skills, and He gives us He blesses us with opportunities and abilities in other ways than other people. Like this phrase always kind of like rubbed me the wrong way, because as a professional athlete, not only do you have to take the ability to catch, you also have to put in a lot of work. And I think we all know that one guy that, like, when you throw him a football, you throw him a basketball, like you throw it to him and then they drop it. They have terrible hands, and so this idea of like God-given ability, I wanted to look at catching and throwing, of whether if they were a learned skill or if they were skills that you were granted and like just that they were God-given. So my paper really breaks down into three parts, and the first part is just the analysis of what is catching, what is throwing, and just the developmental process of both of those. So first looking at catching, and like obviously like we got a ball here, and like catching easy for me to do. I can do it all day, every day, really. And so a lot of times we think catching begins with our hands. We have two hands, and obviously a lot of times when we're watching athletes and we're just playing outside with our kids or with our friends, like we don't think about the process of catching. We think about just the end result of people using their hands to make a catch. But in my paper, what I actually found out by a guy named Daniel Dross, who did research into this topic, is that catching doesn't begin with your hands. It actually begins with your eyes. And I'm going to use some sunglasses to visualize and illustrate your eyes. And so catching begins with your eyes, and it begins with the development of your eyes. So the reason that is that when you're catching a ball, the first thing you do is you look up and you try to identify it in the air. So you don't look up when someone throws you a ball, you don't just put your hands out and try to grab it. What you do first is you identify it in the air, and then you put your hands out in order to make the catch. So that was interesting to me, because that's one of those things that you don't really think of when you're playing catch with your friends or you're throwing the ball around. You just kind of think that you're going to go out there and make a catch. The next part of my paper is that the development of throwing. And throwing is interesting to me because even though I'm a bigger guy, I'm a stronger guy, like just throwing has always been a struggle for me. I can't throw a football further than 20 yards downfield, and even with that, it's with all my strength, and it's a wobbly, ugly looking throw. So with that being the case, something that stuck out to me was throwing doesn't just start with having a strong arm. It doesn't start with just being able to push the ball further downfield. It actually starts with the development of all your muscles. So just like a lot of things, like throwing incorporates all your core muscles into the act of throwing. So if you don't have a strong core, and if you're not developing the muscles in your legs, the muscles in your arms, the muscles in your chest, the muscles in your core, you're not going to be able to throw the ball, and you're not going to be able to have proper throwing posture and proper throwing procedure. So that's the second point of analysis in my paper. And then we just go on to, I just asked the question, is throwing and catching, are they God-given abilities or are they learned skills? And the conclusion came down to is that these are learned skills and these are developed skills. So while we look at athletes, and while I'll look at athletes like a LeBron James, or my favorite wide receiver in the NFL right now is Amari Cooper. And while I look at these guys and they're just amazing athletes and they're just phenomenal at what they do. Amari Cooper is a rookie wide receiver right now. He's leading all the rookies in catches. Like, God didn't just grant them that ability. He may have blessed them with the talent and the ability, but they still actually had to still go out and develop those tools and skills necessary to be able to do what they do on the field, to be able to do what they do on the court. So what you kind of see is that it's a learned skill, but it's also a skill that you must be constantly working on. And it starts from as children who one of the scientists on one of the websites I looked on for my paper talks about how a lot of kids start out and they're scared to have a ball thrown at them. A lot of kids won't naturally, first time you throw a ball at them, just put their hands out and try to catch it. They'll try to run from a ball. So this kind of shows us that if that's our natural state, if our natural state or our first instinct is to run or get away from the ball, then we're not naturally gifted these God-given abilities. These are all skills that need to be developed. So that's about it. And then the last thing I want to touch on is something I actually ended up skipping. It in that what are some of the things that could hold back or prevent these skills from developing? Throwing is a very common one, and throwing is something that we see a lot in kids, is that they get sore muscles because they're not using proper posture and proper procedure when they're trying to throw a ball. So a lot of kids playing Little League Baseball, or a lot of kids playing any sports really, their coach sees that they have more ability than other kids on the field, so they want them to be a pitcher. So these kids are just getting sore and they're not being able to rest up the muscles. So something that could prevent you from being able to develop your throwing ability more is just having sore muscles and not resting that sore muscle properly. So sore muscles can easily turn into tears and strains and sprains and more severe injuries if we don't allow those injuries to get rest. And then also the next thing we got is developmental coordination disorder, and that's when scientists actually really don't know what developmental coordination disorder does exactly to the body, but this doesn't allow for kids to catch the ball as easily. So many scientists think that it does something to a person's eyes or potentially a person's brains, but we don't really know a whole bunch about it. So developmental coordination disorder just affects a person's eye. It doesn't allow them to properly spot the ball or properly see the ball. So this could affect somebody from being able to catch the ball either as a kid. And a lot of times scientists say that it goes away once you hit like your teenage years. As a kid, that could prevent you though from developing these skills. So I just want to say thank you guys all for viewing, and I'll post up the 3 questions for this vlog for the assignment in the assignment. So thank you. You guys all have been amazing this semester, and I just want to say you guys have a Merry Christmas and a good finals week.